This is the third painting in my cracked series, except it didn't really crack at all. It was still the same day of the second painting, but a few hours later. Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe if I had poured this immediately after the first one of the day that in my cracked, it was still a cloudy day. There was still a little bit of rain, but not as much as earlier in the day. So I think the humidity in the air had probably changed. So I think that's why this one really dried perfectly. As I said before, in the first cracked painting in this series, because of the desert climate here, I've never had issues with paints cracking. They just pretty much dry flat. And this is the first time it had rained in quite a while here, so it wasn't something that I was thinking about. But as I said, after I got that first crack result, I was like, okay, this looks visually interesting to me, so let's see if I can get some more of it. But as I said before, I was trying to do these paintings again on days that it rained, and sometimes they would just dry perfectly. No matter, I just couldn't get it to crack, even though it would rain, the humidity was high, I was still using the thick white paint. So after this, you'll see the results of this when it dries at the end. So after this one didn't crack at all, I was looking up online what causes paint to crack in acrylic pouring. One of the other factors mentioned was thinner paints versus thicker paints. So I thought to myself, the next time it rains, I'm going to try it with some thinner paints. And again, that was also hit or miss results, because sometimes it would crack and sometimes it wasn't crack. For the most part, the paintings turned out fine, and I ended up actually switching paint brands, because I was thinking that perhaps the binder in different paint brands might also be a contributing factor, but that sort of works, but not all the time. Again, most of the time the paints dried perfectly fine. So after the second go around, which I'll be posting in future videos, I decided I'll some days when it rains here again, I don't know when that's going to be, I'm going to try this again at some point in the future, but I'm not necessarily going to have expectations on if it will or if it won't crack, because I could never 100% duplicate or replicate that, that the painting was going to end up cracking when it rained or not, whether it was with the thick paints or with the thin paints. So I guess whatever condition it was, maybe I needed to always consistently have the paints be at like maybe perhaps 90% humidity. I don't know, because I could never tell. The only time I know for sure that there were some days that I had humidity, I looked at it, it was 80 something percent humidity, and it was raining at the time, and it was still raining while the paintings were drying. But as I said, I could never quite depend on a painting coming out cracked. So here I've used a strainer and I've poured this out. I kind of had a feeling that this one might not crack as much, or perhaps at all, because the white was really sinking into the paint because it's thicker than the other ones. And I remember from the previous painting that when I had these little areas of white like this, they sunk, that a lot of them didn't end up cracking in the end. They were fine. So I do a lot of spinning out of this one. And fiddling with the edges to get the paint to stick to it. I still have a few of these canvases from Amazon, and I think if I reuse them in the future, I might need to pre-paint the edges so that I don't know, maybe I'll add more gesso, or maybe a solid color. See if that will help with the paint thickness, the edges issue that I'm experiencing. So here I'm going in with the barbecue skewer again to fix the design to something that I like better than what's there, and repositioning the paint by tilting the colander and also doing some more spinning. This is a close-up of it. So I put it down here to dry. So there was a spot of white that I just thought didn't look good. The other ones were much thinner than it, so I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to cover this spot up because it doesn't match the rest of it. Although, I mean, visually, it might look as if those areas are cracked. They're completely flat. The paint just separated, and you can see the white better. But there's actually no depth to it. The white is just at the same level as the other ones, as the other paints around it. So my suspicions about this one turned out to be true. That as I said, it was later on in the day when I was pouring it, and although it was still cloudy and it was still raining, because of what happened with the previous one, I thought to myself, this might not work out, and it didn't work out when it dried in the end. You know, there really wasn't the depth there that I was expecting. There were also some spots of this design that I didn't like, so I just used some wooden butterflies to cover them up, and I think this painting actually looks quite interesting in the end.